All right, we're going to talk about MVX Plus and related to malnutrition. So, malnutrition is a certainly old school issue, but now detectable very easily with a simple blood test, MVX Plus. It's revolutionary that you could just read this one lab test and see that somebody is straight up malnourished. They could look healthy, but they can have a variety of symptoms, and then they get diagnosed with some ridiculous disease or some condition, and they're given a drug, and they were malnourished. That's the problem. This malnourishment detected on MVX Plus comes down to two different factors. One is the most important macronutrient, which is protein, and the other one is the most important micronutrient, which is vitamin B1. So MVX Plus detects the two most important nutrients in the human body, and then it's related to sugar consumption because sugar depletes B1, and when you're eating a lot of sugar, you don't get enough protein, and protein gets destroyed by the sugar. So MVX picks up on all this stuff, and I have found, since I've been running MVX earlier this year, I found many people who are malnourished, just simply malnourished. The lab test is only $89. And I'm inspired to say this because somebody on Instagram, he's a physical therapist, attacked me because I made a comment that meat has never been shown to ever cause disease in any way. Meat does not cause cancer, it does not cause heart disease. There's no science anywhere ever to show that meat causes any disease. I don't care what university hospital says. I don't care what the World Health Organization says. They lie just like any other government institution. And so when you eat meat, you get healthier. The more meat that you eat, the healthier you become, the more human you become. And mental illness goes away when you eat more and more meat. Anxiety goes away. You get more oxygen infused into your muscles, which depletes. Oxygen combines with hydrogen, and you get water. So if you don't get that reaction going, the hydrogen builds up in your muscles. You get lactic acidosis. You get malnourishment, and then your body doesn't form that water. You don't sweat it out, and weight loss occurs at night. So you want to have red meat in order to get the water formation inside your body. Red meat has heme iron and myoglobin, which infuses oxygen deep into the muscles. And the only other thing that does that is B1, to be honest. So again, MVX Plus measures the B1 status and the amino acid status. And so the amino acid status is conveyed in a website called dietdoctor.com/satiety. And what they're saying is that protein is the most satisfying macronutrient. And here are the macronutrients: fats, proteins, carbs, alcohol, and ketones. And protein is the most important one. It maintains the structure of your body. It maintains your bones, your brain, your skin, your muscles. So people think, oh, I'm eating protein for my muscles. No, it's for every single organ and gland and tissue, cell membrane in your body. And without protein, then everything kind of falls apart. And so if you don't feed your muscles are the largest organ in your body. And if you're not feeding your muscles, your stupid little adrenal glands, which are this big, they don't have a chance. Your thyroid right here doesn't have a chance if you're not feeding your muscles. So right now I'm at 180 pounds, and I probably have, 90 pounds or more of muscle. So that's the biggest organ. And people think it's the thyroid, or I'm sorry, people think it's the brain or the liver or the skin. Nope, it's muscles. So you got to feed your muscles first, and your muscles need protein, and the rest of your body needs protein. And so now if you need, so that's why I think the carnivore diet is excellent. And you could maybe need like 70% meat and then 30% plants, or maybe 90% meat and 10% plants. Right now, that's where I'm at. So just try that and see how much protein you can get into your body, and then watch how you feel. When I went carnivore first time, August of 2018, within 1 week, I broke my chest press record, and I just felt great. It was amazing. So I was so inspired, I decided to focus on meat, and I made a rule, and that rule is to eat as much meat as I possibly could every single day. So I was eating like over 2 pounds of meat easily for a year, and it was fantastic. And then after a year, I chose a different rule, and that was to eat as much meat as I wanted. So the quantity of meat went down, the plants went up a little bit, and so that's where I've been ever since. So I have to say, here's a rule that everybody should follow. Meat is food, plants are medicine. So keep that in mind. Meat is food, plants are medicine. And so when I say plants are medicine, that includes all the components of plants. That's fiber, and that's the phytonutrients and polyphenols and anthocyanidins and all the things, all the and saponins, and some of these things are truly medicine. And so they'll find these components in a plant, and then they change a molecule a little bit, and then they call it a drug, and they patent that drug. But what they did was they just took something really natural, like let's say a saponin from a plant, and I think marshmallow, for example, has saponins in it, which is like a soap. Saponin means soap, and there are plants that clean the inside of your body like a soap. So anyways, pharma will take a saponin or something, and then they'll just change a molecule. They'll move a hydrogen from this part to this part, or they'll add, add a fluorine or something. And then they patent it and they sell, hopefully it's a blockbuster for them, but in the meantime, it's causing damage to you. And what they're trying to do is convince you that that one chemical will block one receptor, or block the formation of an enzyme, or block an enzyme, or block, it's one versus one. It's like shooting bullets with bullets. We're seeing this now in the Middle East. These missiles are going up, and you think that another one's going to hit it. Well, guess what? It doesn't always happen. Missiles come through, unfortunately, but that's how medicine treats your body. It's like, here comes this chemical, and it's gonna block this thing, but it doesn't always work, and you end up with side effects, and you end up with toxicity, and you're not cured of anything. So I made a comment on social media recently. Somebody said they were talking about GLP-1, the new Ozempics, those kind of weight loss drugs, saying like they cure metabolic syndrome or metabolic disease, like fatty liver and stuff, high blood pressure. It's like, well, not really, because when you stop Ozempic, guess what? All the problems come back. How is it a cure? When you stop the drug and it comes back. You didn't cure anything. You just stop some things for a little bit of time. Again, with the medication that has side effects. It's a poisonous drug. And, it's a peptide. If they kept it as a peptide, truly as a peptide, you could use it in small doses for a longer period of time with less side effects and more effectiveness when you have the right diet too. I know a weight loss doctor, he's on social media, he's got a couple of million followers. He recommends the Mediterranean diet. Like, that's a failure. That's been a failure for 70 years. Stop with the Mediterranean diet. It's a high carbohydrate, low protein diet. And for decades, they kept saying, oh, red wine, 2 glasses a night of red wine, and it's good. Because why would you do 2 glasses of red wine? Because Mediterranean diet. That's what they do in France, so therefore we should do it. No, it's bullshit. It's just stupid. It's epidemiology and observational studies. It's garbage science. It's the same kind of science that they use to convince us that cigarettes were good and that meat is bad and red wine is good. No. That's observational studies. There's no placebo. There's no control group. It's just, big surveys. And so anyways, getting back to this diet doctor, this weight loss doctor, I should say, he recommends a Mediterranean diet, failure diet. And then you end up using Ozempic, and he does weight loss surgeries. And he just goes on and on about the Mediterranean diet. And he says meat is bad because it raises LDL. That's another factor. LDL is a risk factor that has no correlation with mortality. It's a risk factor that will get you a diagnosis of heart disease, but that doesn't mean that you're going to die sooner. And it's got a thing, it's called the U-shaped curve, like this. So like if LDL goes up, you're going to die sooner, but if LDL goes down, you're still going to die sooner. That's why it's called a U-shaped curve, like that. And so what's the point? Like, do you want it up or do you want it down? It depends. Depends on other conditions. So anyways, getting back to MVX Plus. So it measures amino acids, 3 of them, branched chain amino acids. And these are the most important ones because when they're too high, you end up getting a fatty liver. And then you lower those branched chain amino acids by digesting protein better. And you get those branched chain amino acids, BCAAs, you get them out of your blood into your cells, metabolized, assimilated, and then your liver can defat itself. And when you have fatty liver, you end up with hypertension, and you got the um, you know visceral fat, and insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and then all the other diseases of modern society, including cancer, heart disease, plaquing the arteries. And half of Americans have fatty liver, 50%. It's like 49.8%, according to a study. So, anyways, the amino acids need to come be at a certain range, and you can see this with the MVX Plus test. And then the other nutrient is the micronutrient vitamin B1. So vitamin B1 lowers those branched chain amino acids, and then therefore your liver can defat itself. Vitamin B1 lowers your insulin resistance better than exercise. It lowers your glucose better than anything else, better than any drug, and exercise and diet. B1 is the best therapy for type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, hypoglycemia, insulin resistance, vitamin B1. So I got a patient right now. He's been with me a couple years, and type 2 diabetic for 25 years. His glucose was 180 to 250, and now it's 80 to 120. And the only change is vitamin B1 in high doses. It has been fantastic. Before that, we tried the keto carnivore diet. He was in ketosis, but his glucose would not come. It came down, and then it came right back up. And we tried a variety of other supplements. There's chromium, and there's gymnema, and there's a variety of other digestive support, pancreas support, supplements for insulin resistance. They didn't work, and I carry them, and I've used them for years, right? But he was so severe with his type 2 diabetes and B1, within 4 months, his glucose was down 50 points on average, and he uses his monitor. His monitor tells him his 6 weeks average and 3-month average, and now it's like normal, totally normal blood glucose. So, anyways, MVX Plus. So when that shows malnutrition, then you can address that by eating more protein, reducing fat, reducing carbs, adding B1, and make sure you can digest your food. So then you need to maybe take some hydrochloric acid, take some enzymes. There's pancreatic support, bile duct, bile support, like gallbladder support, gallbladder cleansing, liver support, and even the pituitary, this organ right there in the center of your brain, that tells the other organs to make hormones and to do things, including it tells the stomach to make hydrochloric acid. So when you take, let's say you have heartburn, you take Prilosec or Prevacid, those purple pills, they block the function of the pituitary, which is a disaster. Again, that's medicine, blocking things and stopping things and making things not work in order to relieve a symptom. But I got a supplement called pituitrophin from Standard Process, and it fixes the pituitary, and then that then tells the stomach to make more or less hydrochloric acid and make it a normal amount, and then the symptoms go away. So, but I've had a number of people in the last 6 months where MVX Plus tells me that they're not digesting their protein very well, and then I fix their organs, I fix their digestion, and have them eat more meat or less fat or something to make it better. Hi, Kimberly. Yeah, I did eat that big fat steak. It was awesome. Yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying. Okay, so again, back to malnutrition. So I'm inspired to say this because I was just reading some Instagram comments, and I said on this comment, I said, colon cancer is not caused by meat consumption. And a physical therapist responded, and the first thing he said was, he attacked my license. Okay, that's called an ad hominem attack, because I'm a chiropractor. And for whatever reason, physical therapists and chiropractors, they fight with each other because I think it's a territory thing, like spine and muscles, it's musculoskeletal. So, okay, first comment, disregard because it's an ad hominem attack. And then the second comment was, it's a lack of fiber that causes colon cancer. That's totally not true. Absolutely not true. You can have no fiber whatsoever your whole life, never get colon cancer because you're not eating sugar. So sugar is the problem. It's the main cause of cancers forever. And white refined sugar since the beginning of time. And I got this book. Oh my gosh, do I have it here in front of me? Yeah, here it is. Ravenous. This talks about Otto Warburg, the father of physiology, the Nazis, and the search for the cancer diet connection. He was discovering how sugar causes cancer. He was discovering the mechanism behind it. Now we're talking 1920s, 30s, and he was a gay Jew in Berlin, and Hitler loved this guy, even though he was a gay Jew, because Hitler's mom died of breast cancer, and Hitler was afraid of cancer. And all the Nazis therefore were afraid of cancer because Hitler was. He controlled all their minds. And so he survived in Berlin all the way till when the Russians came, and then he left Berlin because of the Russians. And he just didn't want to mess with that. So, but the Russians respected him. Anyways, the problem here is like refined sugar is two things, dextrose and fructose. Now, fructose is fine. Fructose from fruit is fine. Dextrose is not fine. And you combine dextrose and fructose together, not fine at all. So if you're eating fruit and your glucose goes up, your insulin goes up, that's totally fine. And then it can come down, and it can help you. It can help with your hormones, help you feel better, make glycogen for your muscles so you feel stronger, you can sprint faster. That's fructose turning into glycogen in your muscles, feeds your brain, that's fine. So there's a lot of carnivore doctors who have entered more fruit into their diet with benefits, hormonal benefits and immune system benefits. So, but yeah, sugar is the main culprit for cancer and heart disease and autoimmune diseases because for a couple of reasons. Number one, it destroys tissue. Number two, it destroys your food. It destroys your protein and your fats. And number three, it depletes B1. And it depletes magnesium. It depletes all kinds of nutrients, calcium, minerals, etc. And so when the USDA has their recommended daily allowance or a minimum daily allowance of minerals and stuff, it's based on a high carbohydrate diet. So if you're eating a low carb diet and you're focused on meat, you can ignore what the government says that they think you should be eating. So I just had a thought come and go with that. I got so many thoughts coming through. So is there a difference in what it means if amino acids are too high versus too low on the MVX Plus? Roshan, always with the good questions, Roshan. If the branched chain amino acids are too high or too low, you fix it the same way. Primarily, if it's too high, you fix the digestion so the body can assimilate all those amino acids out of the blood into the cells. And if the branched chain amino acids are too low, again, fix digestion and then increase the branched chain amino acids into your diet. And you can do that with powders. I got one called Maxi BCAAs, which really helped a guy feel great. His MVX showed low amino acids, and he started taking it, and he felt fantastic. I've been talking about this product called SP Detox. SP Detox Balance. I've been taking that for about 3 weeks or more. I feel fantastic on it. It's detoxing. It's great. But if your BCAAs are high, it doesn't mean you should not be taking extra BCAAs. Now you can have low BCAAs on MVX Plus. That means cachexia. Cachexia is where you're B1 deficient and maybe you're dying. Like that's how severe it is. You can have cardiac cachexia after a heart attack or cancer cachexia. And it's not a good state at all. And you can have you lack of appetite because of B1 deficiency. B1 deficiency makes you not hungry. It makes you feel full, so you're not hungry. So you lose your appetite, and then when you eat food, you can't digest it because of B1 deficiency. Cachexia is a B1 deficiency, and most people die that way, not because of a heart attack, not because of cancer, it's because they're starving, because of a B1 deficiency. Isn't that a wild statement? It's wild. I don't think medicine studies cachexia hard enough. I've been studying cachexia for 15 years. It's a weird name, isn't it? It's an intriguing name. It means caca, which is poop, and then exia means to hold on to. So you can't exhale carbon dioxide. You're breathing, maybe it's too shallow, but you're not getting carbon dioxide formation in your cells. You're not getting oxygen into your cells. That oxygen carbon dioxide transfer is not happening. That's when you're dying. Now, I experienced that last year with the gas leak. So I spent the day today on top of the roof cleaning off the little helicopter things from trees. And I did it last year, and I had a hard time last year. I had the gas leak last year. But today I was more nimble. I could breathe deeper. And I know that over the next 12 months, I'll be breathing easier and better still and deeper because I've been detoxing. But anyways, there's a huge difference in my health over the last year, detoxing and doing all the good things, stopping breathing in the cancer. I wanted to talk about, I saw an article about why old people smell. And they used this comment, B1, as in boy, B1. Thanks, Jamal. Why do old people smell? So in this article, it talked about the smell of old people being kind of musty, like a basement. And they said it's because of lipid peroxidation in the skin. So the fats are oxidizing. Okay, and like, okay, that's fine. I will buy that. I'll buy that. But I don't think it's the majority of the answer. I think that's the minority of the answer. I think the majority of the answer is mold and candida. When I smell the old people smell, it's a fungal smell. And it's first on their breath. And then it can come through the skin. And it could be a combination of other things too. I've smelled urine on old people's skin, and I've smelled infection coming through old people's skin. These are all treatable. That's my point. Like, I had a woman, this is wild. She had a urine smell in her chest right here. And she went to her doctor and told him, and he said, take more showers and use more underarm deodorant, which of course didn't work. But urine smell coming from her chest, I put her on a supplement from Standard Process called Albaplex. And in like a few days or a week, it was gone. That urine smell was gone. And her incontinence was fixed. That's a bladder issue. Okay. Anyways, but people who are not healthy, they can end up with candida, mold, fungus, whatever you want to call it, that category of organisms. And it can be in their skin. They get skin rashes, jock itch, athlete's foot, toenail fungus, nail fungus, white coating on the tongue. It can emerge through their skin, like this, or here, under the breast, where the fats fold. Yeah, and there's no like respiration of the skin there because the fat's like skin's touching skin. So you got to fix that from the inside. My nose is itching. So you got to fix that from the inside. And then you make that smell go away. Yeah, old people smell can be fixed. Outside of infections, what could drive inflammation indicated by high glycate? Inflammation from high fibrin. And you test that by using the hypercoagulation panel from LabCorp. Susan, I have cancer cachexia, hoping the putrophin will help with this. Probably not. That's B1. So, and then eat raw animal foods. Okay. And I did an interview with a woman on the YouTube channel. Her name is Karen Walling. And this is 2 years ago. Susan Strobel, you got to find this on the YouTube channel. She had cancer cachexia. It was originally endometrial cancer, spread, cachexia, ascites. Somebody else is asking about ascites, which is the fluid development in the gut, which has to be drained off at the hospital. And she was done with all the chemo. She was done with all the radiation. The doctors gave up on her. She came into our office, and she's not even my patient. She's a patient of one of my practitioners. And my practitioner came to me and said, what should I do? I don't know where to start. And I said, she needs to eat raw animal food. It could be raw eggs, raw liver, raw red meat, raw butter, raw milk, something raw. Pick she got to pick it. She picked eggs. And she started eating a dozen eggs a day. And more than 12 or more a day. And that was like now 3 years ago. Guess what? All of her cancer's gone. It's all gone. At 2 years in, I said to her, I need you to get a scan just to prove that it's gone. And she wouldn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it. So I finally, hi, Anna. Good to see you. She finally agreed to do it. And then, all of her cancer is gone because of raw eggs. Now, the doctor that was treating her also did liver cleansing and all kinds of supplements, get parasites out and detoxing. So, I got my 7-step blueprint to optimal health. So it's not always just, diet. And I think a lot of people wish it was. I wish it was. I wish it was just diet that fixes every health condition on the planet. It doesn't work that way, because you got to do steps 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, not just step 1. So that includes all the detoxing and getting rid of parasites and stuff like that. So, okay, so getting back to malnutrition. Anyways, and I started talking about this physical therapist. So he did an ad hominem attack on me, and then he said that it's a lack of fiber, not a lack of protein, not a lack of meat, causing colon cancer. And I was like, well, in my head, I didn't respond. But I'm thinking to myself, he's, okay, as a physical therapist, he's treating people. I'm going to assume at least half of his patients are malnourished. I'm just going to say that. He's treating people for musculoskeletal issues, and they are probably just malnourished. So he should run MVX. That's my point. Any doctor or physical therapist, even plastic surgeons, need to run MVX Plus. So, and they can find out, is their patient going to recover from the surgery? Like, are they going to be benefited by my therapies, by my exercise or stretching recommendations? Will they work if they're malnourished? No, they need to get nourished first. So Focus says lactic acidosis and leptin resistance similar. Lactic acidosis is a series of biochemical events that occur when your mitochondria don't work very well. You end up with high lactate, and you end up with high acid, hydrogens. And there's 4 things to do to fix that. And do I want to get into that? Oh my gosh. I got a graphic right here. Oh, look, there's my graphic. These are the 4 things that you have to do to fix lactic acidosis. Take in B vitamins, B as in boy, fix up the liver, go on a low carb diet, get the sugar in your blood way, way down. And then you have to detox lactate, acetate, ethanol, and acetaldehyde out of your blood. Add in oxygen to get rid of the hydrogen. So what is ethanol? That's alcohol. What is acetaldehyde? That's the hangover feeling. That's how you get rid of lactic acidosis. And your question is it the same as leptin resistance? No. Leptin resistance would be related to reducing sugar in the blood and getting into ketosis. That's valuable right there. It's so valuable. And I think, ketosis was pretty popular in 97 and again in 2015 to 2018 or so. And then it has its popularity, then it goes away. It shouldn't go away. It's really important to have ketosis in our conversations, in our medicine. Which standard process supplement for B1 deficiency? Well, the one product that they have that has the highest amount of B1 is called Cataplex B, but it's only 1 milligram of B1. I think a lot of people need high doses. I took 750 milligrams of B1 in the form of benfotiamine. Okay, Susan, back to you. Actually, I was taking pituitrophin for bone loss. Geez, I don't know if I don't see pituitrophin fixing bone loss. Where might damage from high oxidative stress fit into the MVX results and or 7 steps? Okay, let's talk about oxidative stress. First, I want to talk about antioxidants. This whole theory about antioxidants goes back decades. And antioxidants means this. Check this out. This is really interesting. Anti is against oxygen. Antioxidants are against oxygen. And we need oxygen. Why would anybody want to take an antioxidant when our bodies need oxygen? So the just hear me out. The antioxidant theory applies to plants. They don't want oxygen. They take in carbon dioxide and they expel oxygen. Okay, so having said that, there's still oxidative stress. Like I just mentioned, lipid peroxidation causes the old people smell. So how do you prevent that? You nourish your body and you add in the three main nutrients are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, and then you have to have a lot of electrons. It's the electrons that change the what's the word? Reactive, the radical, free radical. You got to have electrons to infuse into the body, and then the body will place electrons where it needs to place it, and then these free radicals go away. It's an issue of electricity. Okay, so carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are like 96.8% of the human body. Okay, so you want to take in oxygen. You're not trying to be anti-oxygen, like take antioxidants. All right, there's my antioxidant theory. And okay, now the antioxidant theory was actually developed for humans by a guy named Denham Harmon, 1954. And he said, this is what he said in an interview. He said, I thought and thought and thought, and finally the idea came to me. He did no research. He just thought this whole thing up about antioxidants. It's like Karl Marx just coming up with Marxism. Like it's total bullshit. Totally destructive, and there's no scientific backing on it at all. Okay. All right. How can I get the MVX test? Go to my website, the nhcaa.com. I notice I can type in here. I'm getting new experiences with I think I just typed it in. Yeah, there you go. The nhcaa.com, upper right corner says MVX test. It's $89. And you have to go to LabCorp for your blood draw. Go fasted, 10 to 12 hours fasted. So just go in the morning, skip breakfast. What do you say to the people that dismiss the efficacy of chiropractic? Kevin Song says that. So there's a lot of studies on chiropractic. The majority of them show that it's efficacious. Now the question is, what's causing the problem? And one of the founders, the founder of chiropractic in America, D.D. Palmer, said there's 3 causes of a subluxation, which is what chiropractors treat: trauma, toxins, and autosuggestions. I'm gonna say it again: trauma, so you fall down; toxins, which nobody talked about 100 years ago; and then autosuggestion, so like stress or mental stuff. So I focus on the toxins, the nutrition. That's my focus. And then there's, most chiropractors focus on the trauma. And you can have overuse syndromes, and you can have traumatic, fall down car accidents, that kind of stuff. Now, again, the whole point of tonight's discussion is about malnutrition. And if you're malnourished in B1 and protein, nothing much works. I don't care what surgery, what drug, what supplement, what exercise, stretching, physical therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture. Nutrition is the most fundamental thing. Everybody can agree with that. Everybody agrees with that. Just ask anybody. Nutrition is the most fundamental thing. What's the approach to fix high fibrin? Roshan, it's lumbrokinase and niacin. And then high homocysteine can be a factor, so therefore B vitamins to lower homocysteine. And also a drug. There's a drug that can, for people with genetics deletions, there's a blood thinner that can lower fibrin and bring it to normal. How do you test for lactic acidosis? There's a book here. This book is a clinical history of lactic acidosis. This is from 1976. And it says, just assume everybody with a chronic illness has lactic acidosis. But you can test for it. You can buy a machine for like $400 from Abbott Labs. I think it's Abbott. Just search it online. And it's a blood prick at home. Just to, do a blood spot onto the stick, and the machine reads your lactate levels. Now, it's originally used for, I'm talking to you, Braden. It's originally used for athletes, because coaches are trying to reduce lactic acid formation while exercising. And they do it by doing different exercises, but the truth is it's more nutrition. You can't really fix, the propensity to have lactic acidosis by exercising more or less. You have to fix it with nutrition. So, like Michael Phelps, he can convert lactate back to pyruvate greater than 85% of the time, whereas normal people, they're at like 85% of the time. And then sick people are going to be like as 80% of the time. That conversion of lactate back to pyruvate, that's the key. There's some biochemistry that might be over your head, but that's the key. B1 is in bacon? No. So let me talk about where do you find B1? Yeah, B1, I'm going to say it. B1 is in bacon. It's in a lot of foods. The one food that has the most amount of B1 is pork. But in order to get a high therapeutic dose of B1, you have to eat like 12 pounds of pork a day. So that's why pills are super important. And we only store 25 milligrams of B1 in our bodies at a time. So like I said, I was taking 750 milligrams per day for 6 months last year. And the point of that high dose is to saturate it into your tissues, to get it into your brain, get it into your peripheral nerves. I had left arm and left leg numbness from the gas leak. So you got to get high doses. So pills, they're so cheap, right? They're just, yeah. But the main thing you want to do is prevent B1 loss. So don't eat a high-calorie, malnourishing diet. And there's a book, it just fell on the floor. I'm not going to get it. High-calorie malnutrition, processed food, causes B1 deficiency. How to help NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, heal. How do you help fatty liver heal? The ketogenic diet reverses fatty liver 31% in 6 days. And then B1. Choline will help, but not really as good as B1 in a ketogenic diet. You can't get MVX Plus in the UK. I've been trying. I'm trying to get LabCorp to. LabCorp has issues with accessibility to a variety of necessary means to get the MVX test run internationally. So they can't just turn it on. They got to do some things in order to turn it on. All right. It doesn't matter what brand B1 you take. I think they're all made by the same drug companies. Corey, hey, do you focus on getting any specific amino acids, or eating meat to get them broadly? Yeah, eat meat to get them broadly. And then if you have low amino acids on MVX Plus, then you get the branched chain amino acids, which, like I have 2 different products that have high doses of BCAAs. I mean, you can easily, and my website is mothernatureshop.com. So you can buy it from me, or you can buy it from GNC. But GNC doesn't have the education that I'm providing for free, right? So you can help me out that way. Okay, cool. Ask me another question. It's 10:44 my time. I'm still going strong. I had a lot of meat today, and I slept well last night. Do you know of any similar tests we can do in the UK, please? No, there's no similar test to MVX Plus. It is so unique. It is so special. It's unbelievable. Okay. Ask me another question. GNC can stuff it. Yeah, GNC is actually owned by a Chinese company, and all Chinese companies have to obey the Communist Party. And you know, there's over 1 billion Chinese people, but the Communist Party only has like 100,000 members. So it's hard to trust a Chinese company. William, does the pills with herbs not contain anti-nutrients? That's a good question. Herbs are medicine. So yeah, they can have anti-nutrients and they can be beneficial for you. Yeah. And they can have nutrients that are good for you. And there's people, I give them St. John's wort and their blood pressure goes up and it's not good. Or licorice. Like true herbal licorice can speed up the adrenals and blood pressure goes up. It's not, we don't want that. But other people take licorice and it doesn't make their blood pressure go up, and then it fixes their digestive problems. So again, that's why I'm saying plants are medicine. Just, you can take, if somebody says, hey, eat salads every day. I had a patient do that. She went to a holistic doctor and he said, you need to eat a big salad every day. Well, she started doing that, and for 5 years, she had the worst heartburn. And it took me about 3 months to figure out, hey, stop eating salads. So she did, and within 2 months, all of her heartburn was gone. So we're talking like peppers and lettuce and olive oil and carrots and tomatoes, and it was causing terrible heartburn for her. So have you ever turned patients away because you're overqualified to treat the problem? For example, lower back pain? No, I mean, if somebody has low back pain, I'm always going to look for the nutritional component, because there's always a nutritional component to low back pain. Of course, if you have somebody who's younger, let's say they have trauma and now they have low back pain, I can supply nutrients to speed up the healing process. Then I send them to the chiropractor that's in my office. I don't take new chiropractic patients. I haven't in 17 years. It's all nutrition for me. Is inhaling Brown's gas molecular hydrogen beneficial in your opinion? I think so. Inhaling molecular hydrogen. But I use Cellcore Biosciences. I like them because they don't have just hydrogen in their supplements, like additional hydrogen. They have carbon and oxygen too. So like I said, it's carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. It's not just hydrogen. So Brown's gas is fine, but I want more. Okay. Corey, I think my question was worded wrong. I meant, are there any specific amino acids you'd recommend supplementing? Lysine, histidine, glycine, or does just eating meat give you what you need? Just eat meat to get what you need, and make sure you're digesting it well. But if you have cachexia or you got some digestive issues, you got to fix that up. So for my 83-year-old dad's energy levels, a B1 supplement would be a solid place to start. Orbital Hub, yeah, 100%. 100% start with B1 for anybody. Yeah. It's amazing. So if you give them benfotiamine, let's say you give them 500 milligrams, within an hour, ask them, have them do this. Go, before you give them B1, say, take a big breath in and exhale. Okay, good. Now take B1. An hour later, say to him, okay, hey, Dad, take a big breath in and exhale. And he goes, and he's surprised because now his lungs are bigger. And he can, like, there's more oxygen. People can feel it within an hour. Am I familiar with L-lysine butyrate? Yeah. I have L-lysine and have butyrate. Not together, but I can see them coming together. L-lysine kills viruses, helps the immune system. Butyrate fixes fixes leaky gut. Yeah, sounds good. Any guidance on how young kids can take benfotiamine and what dose? Pills of benfotiamine, young kids, I don't know, 100 milligrams, 150 milligrams. Okay. I'm a master stone masonry and I stay sore all the time now. Philip, how old are you, Philip? Yeah. When you stay sore all the time, that means that the toxic buildup in your muscles is not leaving. And Philip, tell me how old you are. Then I'm going to tell you an amazing story about a guy with neuropathy chronic pain. And this will help you, Philip. Hear me out. So this guy was, he was a passenger in a car. His brother was driving, speeding down the highway, got into an accident. His brother died. And this guy who was the passenger became my patient. What happened, and this is like, the year was like 1990. He was in a wheelchair for like 3 months, got out of the wheelchair, and then he started developing neuropathy from his feet up to his waist. And he was tool and die. He worked at a tool and die shop. He owned it with his family. And so he wasn't in management, but he worked at you stand in one spot. And the guy works 7 days a week for 25 years with this terrible neuropathy, starting in his feet, going up to his head, pain 10 out of 10 every day for 25 years. Can you imagine that amount of pain? So he's trying everything he could with his diet. Swear to God, you got to hear me out on this. Carnivore diet, keto diet. When he came to me, he was eating 1 steak a day for dinner and water and salt for a year and a half, and that was it. Straight lion diet. Steak, water, salt, 1 steak a day at dinner. It didn't help anything. He never took any drugs. He knew the drugs would destroy his liver. So he came to me, and I said, okay, instead of eating this steak, which is like a pound, I said, I need you to eat a pound of liver every day. And he said, okay. So he comes back in a week, and this is what he tells me. He said within 3 days, all of his pain was gone. Eating a pound of liver. His neuropathy, 10 out of 10, for 25 years, was gone in 3 days. Over the course of 6 months and a year, he would stop eating the liver, and the pain would come back in a day. And then later, the pain would come back in 3 days. And then later, the pain would come back in 5 days. So the liver not instantly, but the liver stopped his pain and fixed it. It was almost medicinal, right? Stopping the pain, and then nutritional, fixing it. So amazing. But it was trauma for him. He was in that car accident. I had the neuropathy due to gas leak, right? Toxins. Trauma, toxins, autosuggestion. That's what D.D. Palmer said, what causes subluxation. So, hey, Dr. Yokel says, hey, Alex, I'll take things that never happened for $500. Yeah, if you never work in nutrition, you'll never believe the stories I have. I have amazing stories. It's just unbelievable. So I had a lot of people then. I had a guy, a professional, or he was a tennis coach, and he got tennis elbow. And he was doing acupuncture, chiropractic, massage. He was taking supplements. 6 months goes by, nothing changes. What happened was his wife bought 3 pounds of liver, and they have 2 kids, and her dad suddenly died. And she lived, this is local to Ann Arbor, and she had to fly home, which is overseas. And so she had this liver. She cooked it up, gave it to her husband, and said, eat this. I'm flying home. See you later. Because her dad had passed away. So the 2 kids are like 3 years old and 5 years old, but it's the husband that's got to finish this liver. And so he ate all that liver, and his tennis elbow was gone by the time he finished that liver. So there's another story about liver curing amazing. These are neurological issues. So Dr. Yokel, no, you don't. You have 0 formal medical training. Okay, so now I got a ad hominem attack. That's all you got, dude. Here's another medical doctor who thinks he's better because of his license. So it's sad because doctors are so caught up in their drug-based, world that they have no clue about nutrition, how to fix the human body. So I feel sad for you. Doc Yokel, I really feel sad for your patients because they're not getting these healing experiences. They're getting drugged, and it's just not good enough. It's very expensive. It's very radical. It's extreme. Whereas nutrition is very inexpensive. It's very conservative. It's always the first place to start. So when people are well nourished, they're detoxed, then they don't need medical doctors. They don't need the drugs. So it's too bad for your licensed Doc Yokel. Sad, really sad. There's 1 million medical doctors. I'm serious, 1 million medical doctors. Drugs, drugs, drugs. And here I am talking about nutrition, and this guy's like, oh, it never worked, never happened. Okay, dude. Sad. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Oh boy. Yeah, I would never want to be associated with the medical doctors, the medical field. And people accuse me of wanting to be a medical doctor, but they kill tens of thousands of people with their drugs and surgery. And anyways, I'm gonna move off that subject and get back to education. So anyways, the liver is a super healing food, and red meat. Having said that, I'm gonna tell you one more story, and then it's like 11 o'clock my time, so I'm gonna kind of get ready for bed, I guess. So I had this patient, Doc Yokel, hear this out, pancreatic cancer with 5 tumors in her liver. And she came to me, and I said, I did my analysis, and I was like, okay, you got to have raw animal food and red meat. And I may have said this before. And she's Jewish, and she made really good chopped liver, which I've had amazing chopped liver before from some of my friends or staff or whatever. And in 3 months, her cancer, I did say this, her cancer marker went from 10,400 down to 95. And all the tumors were going away. They're getting thinner on the scans. And one tumor in the liver was gone. They're all shrinking. She was getting a lot better. In 3 months, it was noticeable. The labs showed it. The imaging showed it. And to make a long story short, then she got the COVID vaccine. And it all came roaring back, turbo cancer, and she died 4 months later. But the point is, she was on the right track with the raw liver and the red meat. And she was deep in ketosis because she didn't have anything else. No grains, no vegetables, no fruit. Of course, no sugar. All right, cool. It's crazy how I've been saying words like this on YouTube, like COVID and stuff. And I've been saying these forbidden words. And these live videos are not being taken down from YouTube. But through COVID and up until about a year ago or 6 months ago, YouTube was taking down one video of mine about every 6 months and then would give me a community strike. When you get 3 strikes, then you're out. So what they would do is they give me 1 or 2 strikes, and then they would wait 6 months, eliminate those strikes, and then give me another strike. So I always had a strike on my YouTube channel. But now that's not happening. Maybe it's because RFK Jr. is in charge. Wouldn't that be great if that's a true thing? Raw yogurt too. Yeah, that's a good point. I've been making raw yogurt. It's been fantastic. It's been helping me sleep. The arutari, it's been really good. So, all right, I'm gonna go because it's 11 o'clock my time. It's been fun, and I've been trying to do lives on Sunday, but I can't. I'm not gonna tell you like 7 o'clock every Sunday or something like that. I'm gonna get on when I'm like inspired. And so all I need to do is go on social media, read some comments from physical therapists, and medical doctors when they try to bash me and tell me I'm stupid or something. And then I get all revved up, and then I come on and I say smart things. But I got to get the inspiration. I can't like be bashing all medical doctors and all physical therapists, right? I got a sister who's a physical therapist, and we discuss health. And I got a lot of medical doctor friends that are fantastic, and they're holistic and stuff. And my store name is mothernatureshop.com. So nature's plural, Mother Nature's Shop, all spelled out, .com. Okay, cool. I got to go. So I'm going to go jump on the trampoline a little bit, get some lymph flowing, and then hit the sack. Okay, see ya. Bye.